Hello, and welcome to AIM International's preparatory tutorials for the Information Certification Exam. I'm Steve Weissman, Principal Consultant at Holly Group and a certified AIM training instructor in the realm of content, process, and information management. I'll be your guide as we review the exam's major domains of expertise, and I'll tell you all you need to know to earn that passing grade. Today's subject is archiving, a key part of this special certification which AIM created to support you as you solve your organization's existing information-related problems and plan for its future. For 60 years, AIM has been the leading nonprofit association helping users understand how to best manage documents, content, records, and business processes. This module reviews the major principles of archival standards and their implications for the archival lifecycle. Part of the Secure and Preserve Knowledge domain, one of 6 within the certification program, it covers major archival bodies and standards, conservation versus preservation, ECM alternatives versus micrographics, and format obsolescence. Contemporary archival standards reflect a broad definition of archiving that's been adopted by today's major archival associations, which is the process of capturing, collating, analyzing, and organizing any information that serves to identify, manage, locate, and interpret the holdings of archival institutions and explain the contexts and record systems from which those holdings were selected. These standards apply to every process during which information about records, repositories, staff, or users is captured, processed, or retrieved. These include not just the production of finding aids, but also accession documentation, compilation of statistics, and other activities throughout the record's life cycle. The most fundamental characteristic shared by contemporary archival standards, whatever their strength, is that each is the product of consensus. The standards listed on this slide are the result of some kind of group effort and received broad review within their organizations or by potential users before being adopted or published. For products of official standards organizations, like the U.S.'s National Information Standard Organization, there are explicit procedures including formal review periods and balloting by voting members of the organization. Guidelines are often more compiled and adopted by committees of a professional organization. Archival objectives typically include one of 2 outcomes, and it's important to be clear which one you're aiming toward when choosing a standard to adhere to. The first is conservation, which is the restoration of an object to its original condition, the book, the manuscript, the original thumbable object. The other is preservation, which is any act that propagates in any form, page, movie, file, etc., or medium, paper, tape, film, CD, DVD, hard drive, the words or images of the original object. While these terms appear to be similar, over time they've become antonyms in the world of the archivist. Case in point, the disbinding of every volume in order to enable and speed up microphotography and avoid gutter shadow at the U.S. Library of Congress, where a former department head described the microfilm department as being like having a sausage factory in a way. You've got to feed the beast. This issue notwithstanding, technology advances are enabling records managers and archivists to improve their methods of replacing paper-based storage. Although micrographics have long been the conversion tool of choice for a great many librarians and records managers, enterprise content management, or ECM-based alternatives, such as disk storage, are fast overtaking them. They have the following advantages over microfilm and microfiche: random access versus linear, simultaneous access versus serial, and better speed, greater reliability, and easier modification. These are important characteristics to consider because the sheer length of time some archival material needs to be saved means multiple media eventually will come into play and exert an influence over how the stored records are accessed and used. As depicted on this slide, documents from well within many of our lifetimes began on paper, eventually likely were filmed, and now frequently are being converted to disk. And since each of these has its own life cycle issues to contend with, durability, readability, etc., it's like taking 3 bites at the archival apple rather than only 1. Further complicating the picture is the fact that as documents are becoming more complex, it's becoming increasingly meaningless to think of them as existing at all, at least beyond their interpretation by the software that created them, since the bits and bytes in each document file are meaningful only to the program that created them. What I mean is, a document file is not a document in its own right. It merely describes a document that comes into existence only when the file is run by the program that created it. Without this authoring program, or some equivalent viewing software, the document is held cryptic hostage to its own encoding. Unplanned obsolescence thus is created by high-tech advances in proprietary file and storage formats that go out of vogue, forcing users to adopt a data migration program that is sporadic and largely unplanned. So eternal vigilance is the price that archivists must pay for digital conservation, even after they think a document's life cycle has run its course. In this module, we reviewed the principles of archival standards and their implications. The topics we covered are major archival bodies and standards, conservation versus preservation, ECM alternatives versus micrographics, and format obsolescence. Next, you may wish to review the module digging deeper into the issue of long-term preservation. The material you have just reviewed is part of a broader program of study that prepares you to take the Information Certification exam. This proctored test consists of 100 multiple-choice questions and is delivered electronically by Prometric. You'll have 2 hours to complete it, and upon passing, you'll earn a professional certification that's valid for 3 years. For more information, please visit www.aim.org/certification. Thank you.